Now, on to the software stuff. Oh, this little guy, by the way, that is one of the Office assistants in Office 2000. Oh, I might as well mention that as my first software here. Uh, first suite of apps. I tried getting an alternative word processor working in Windows 95. I gave up because it was so difficult to do. I tried an OpenOffice version 1. It was not happening. I tried AbiWord, really old version. That was not happening. So I had to go use the Microsoft Office that I have. Now, this is not free. I do own a legal copy of it. But the deal is that, well, you're going to have to either find a copy of Office 95. Actually, the following versions of Microsoft Office will work in Windows 95 with no problem. Microsoft Office 4.3, that's the old one from Windows 3.1. It works in 95 with no problem. Microsoft Office 95, Microsoft Office 97, and this, which is Microsoft Office 2000, which is Word 9. Let's see, it's Word 9, Excel 9. I think they're all 9s. PowerPoint 9, and there's Outlook. I'm not going to launch Outlook because that thing is a pig. Access, yeah, I think they renamed them all the 9 in this version. Yeah, they are. So anyway, let me close out of this. Close this. Do I want to save? No, I don't. Go away, Einstein. Thank you. Okay, so for word processing in Excel and things like that, the only thing worth running in 95 is a version of Microsoft Office 4.3, 95, 97, or 2000. If you can get 2000, it's awesome because look how fast it launches. Even if you were running a Pentium 166, it would still launch that fast. It's that good. Okay, so now getting the software that makes Windows 95 usable or mostly usable today. So let's cover all these. The first, now, as you notice, I got a bunch of tabs open. 95 can do it, and I'll cover that in a minute. But anyway, the first site is browsers.evolt.org. Now, I've mentioned this site before in several videos I've done, but in order to get Windows 95 upgraded, now there are service packs for Windows 95, but I find the best way to is just to ignore those service packs because the Internet Explorer 6, I'm sorry, not 6, IE 5.5 Service Pack 1 will actually install all the updates required. So if I go to browsers.evolt.org and I scroll down and I find IE and then Win32, because this is a 32-bit environment, and then you will find, oh, I'm sorry, SP2, IE 5.5 Service Pack 2, and this one right here, the 84 megabyte file. This will install a whole bunch of stuff for Windows 95. It updates the DCOM, it updates the networking, it updates a whole mess of stuff. It is so much easier just to run this compared to using going at it by getting all these different files. Now, if you do want the quick launch bars, that is not part of Windows 95 natively. So, to get that, you need 401 SP2 installed first because that includes the Windows Desktop Update. You have to install this first. Now, the IE will either come with, Windows 95 will either come with no Internet Explorer, Internet Explorer 2, or 3, depending on which one you have. Most likely we'll have version 2. Install this one first, IE 401 SP2, and then after that, do IE 55 SP2. Now, I'll say something else too. Don't put this on the desktop because it's actually a self-extracting, that's not an installer, it's a self-extracting zip. So when you download it to the desktop or whatever, make a directory on the desktop called like IE55 or whatever and just dump it in there, then run it. And then you'll see a file in there called IE4setup.exe or IE5setup.exe depending on which one you're doing. If it's 4, you use IE4 setup, you use 5, it's IE5 setup. So that's that. So once you get that in, then you can actually start getting other software. that will work in Windows 95 because it installs so many updates that it just allows so much more stuff to run. So we'll close this tab and go to the browser I am currently using, which is CMonkey 119. This, for all intents and purposes, is Firefox 2. However, it runs a little better and it comes bundled with an email client and a chat client and a basic HTML editor. I've mentioned this software several times before in my retro videos. When you go to download CMonkey, it's going to tell you, which is at cmonkey-project.org, it will tell you to download 2.8. That's obviously not going to work on Windows 95. So you go to the downloads and releases part and scroll all the way to the bottom, and here's all the previous versions, and one of them will be 1.1.19, and it gives you a big warning that you shouldn't run it and all that crap. And then you get the full installer, and don't do the net installer, it doesn't work. But the full installer works. And then you get this, and you get your tabs and everything, and that's cool. So we'll close this out. Now I do have the Chameleon browser, which a lot of people recommend, 154. It's good, but I actually do prefer the CMonkey browser better, just because it has more of a Firefox-ish interface. Now, as far as what works in CMonkey 119 currently, Yahoo Mail, when you log into Yahoo Mail, it will prompt to go to an older version of Yahoo Mail Classic, and that's fine because it works. You can compose mail, read reply, do all the stuff you normally do. Gmail will work. It gives you a nastygram that says some important features may not work in this browser, whatever. You can read, write, compose, do whatever. It's the old school Gmail interface, but it does work. So we'll close these two out. Now there's a website which is a treasure trove of information for Windows 95 called 95isalive.com, as in 95isalive.com. And yeah, I think it is kind of funny that the whole site is in Comic Sans, but it's tolerable. But anyway, it's a very simply designed website, but it has all this stuff all over the place. Like, what if you wanted to know about Windows 95B, and also known as OSR2? Windows 95B was never offered for retail sale, but was provided to computer manufacturers OEM, and it gives you all the information on stuff like that. And you can look up free tools here. With downloads and everything, you can look up. There's connection tweaks for dial-up stuff. There's Outlook Express 5 tips and all this other stuff. So 95isalive.com, definitely a good resource. Now for instant messaging, the latest version of Miranda does not work. It installs. This is a multi-protocol instant messaging client, by the way. It will install, but when you try to run it, it has a what was the error that it gave me? Stack dump. That's what it called. It kind of sounds kind of funny, but that's exactly what happened. It's called stack dump. So what I did is I used the previous version 0.8.27, and it's running. And I have an AIM account, a Windows Live account, better known as MSN or Hotmail, and a Yahoo account for chat. So it does work, but only if you use version 0.8.27 and the one that says ANSI and not Unicode. Unicode support's not, to the best of my knowledge, not in Windows 95, but the ANSI one does. Now, to get 0827, I'll show how it would be done if I went directly to the site. So it's miranda-im.org, and then a download. And then I scroll down a little bit, and I think it's alternate downloads. Yeah. Now, from here, I would just search for 0.8.27. So I select all downloads, then 0.8.27, search, and see there's the Unicode one, there's the ANSI one. That's the one you want. That's the one I have. It's from July 2010, so it's relatively recent. The protocols still do work, so you can do it that way, and it will work. And I got it running. Now, for email, you do have, when you install IE55, you will get Outlook Express 5, but you can also run version 1.5.0.14 of Mozilla Thunderbird, which I have installed, and it does work. The way to get to that is to type the following in your ftp://ftp.mozilla.org, and then you just go through the directory levels. So it's pub for public. Scroll down, Thunderbird. Try that again, Thunderbird. Okay, releases. Here are the version numbers here, and the last version of version 1 was 1.5.0.14. Win32. You select your locale. Mine is EN English United States. And there it is. And that's where I just was.